the correct, because personally I don't have a teacher in the past that I can learn me very well English, and I can um, and all that I know, I think that
Mhm.
it's for my part. And this is all, teacher.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for those words, Mariana. I'm really grateful for that. I'm really glad that you were able to enjoy or take advantage of this course. I'm sure that in the future, perhaps next month, if you continue in the program, you're going to have also different and new teachers who are going to be able to perhaps show you, right, more content, more vocabulary, or many more things that are going to be really helpful for you, Mariana. I can see that you have a very, very good level English, right? Just keep practicing, keep doing it that way, Mariana, because you're doing it great. Again, if you have questions, please, you don't have to hesitate. You have to ask your teacher. You can ask me, you can ask your partners, you can ask the teacher in case you don't feel like very sure about any explanations or something that we are showing you. All right?
Okay, teacher. Thanks. That it's a very recap for me.
That's great, Mariana. Something that I also, please, I'm going to ask you. This is going to do, well, it's going to be actually before this short conversation that I want to have, but actually we're having this conversation. You know, as a teacher, I like a lot what's the feedback, right? Do you know what's feedback, Mariana? Do you know what's the meaning of feedback?
Yes, teacher, is like it's not the same that summary, but it's the same. Sorry, teacher.
It's okay.
Is the it's similar to summary, I think.
Okay, okay, good. Also, it's like, let's call it this way, right? Well, some feedback, because that's not countable. Feedback is going to be like some opinion, right? Or some resources, some words that someone can tell you about something that you did, right? For example, here I was teaching English, and some feedback for me could be your words. For example, what you did right there, Mariana, it was some feedback, right? Because you were telling me it was good,
Okay.
or perhaps it was not that good because you didn't do this, you didn't do that. You can also tell me that, Mariana, and perhaps not here, but what I'm trying to do right now, if you go to the chat, this is not for now, of course, Mariana, and this is not obligatory. This is just optional, but it's also going to help you
Mm-hmm.
practice in English. In that little link, Mariana, when you go to it, I'm going to do it right now for you.
Mm-hmm.
There. When you go to that link, you go anywhere, you click, you go to that link. That's a little web page in which I have my space. And what I'm doing over there is I'm making all the students that I have. This is something new for me. It's the first time I'm doing it. You have to log in with any account that you have, Mariana. It can be Gmail, it can be Hotmail. You log in over there, and when you log in, you're going to be automatically place I created. And the only thing, please, that you need to do that is again optional, but it's going to be really helpful for me, is to record a very short video, maximum 1 minute. It's 30 seconds, maximum one video, and it's going to be like a selfie, like these students did, and you're going to first introduce yourself, right? Hello, my name is Mariana. If you want to talk about your age, if you want to talk about your studies, right? I'm studying this. I'm 20 years old. I don't know. I'm studying English because of this and that. And then you can tell the experience that you had with me, please, Mariana, right? Jose Luis has been my teacher. He has done these activities. This was good. This was bad. Anything positive or anything negative that you can find, try to mention that in 1 minute, and that's it. This is going to be like feedback from you to me, and I'm going to have over there to see all the general perspective that you've had of me as a teacher and the experience of learning English with me. Okay?
Okay, teacher, I can understand.
Okay, that's great. That's only when you have time, if you can do it, but that would be great if you can do it. Again, it's going to be only perhaps 30 seconds, a maximum 1 minute, because as I'm telling you, the platform is not going to let you record more than 1 minute is the limit. All right. So today,
Okay, teacher.
we're going to have this last part. Thank you very much, Mariana. And I was seeing this one over here that I wanted to watch with you. Okay, yes, this is the one that we were watching last time. Do you remember the last topic that we were discussing about, Mariana?
The last topic in the class.
In the last conversation, right?
In the last conversation, I I can remember, but I think that yes, the liars.
Yes, yes, that is correct. And we
Okay,
were watching some of the ways that we have to spot or to identify a liar, right? Do you remember what things we can do to identify when someone is lying, Mariana?
yes, the corporal expressions, because in the video can show the many examples that a person will when a person lies. For example, the hands are in different position, or the same form that can talk. It's different when the person doesn't lie.
Okay, okay, good. Now we're going to listen again to four, and this is only going to be, yes, we have the body language, right? Moving hands, moving the leg, or moving your head around, right? You have body language over there. But also, and besides the body language, you have the language itself, right? How you speak, the words you use, or the words that you don't use when you are lying. So let's pay attention, please, one more time to these four things that we have to pay attention to identify a liar. We're going to go one by one, and you're going to tell me what you understand, please, Mariana. So let's
Okay.
go again. Sorry, Jose. So let's go with number one over here.
Teacher, sorry, but I can listen.
Okay, let me check. Perhaps I'm going to share one more time. And Mariana, thank you for telling me. Okay, yes. Now you should be able to listen. You're going to verify, please, Mariana, and this part. Let me know if you can listen now, please, Mariana.
Four such common patterns in the
Yes.
subconscious language.
Okay, good. So let's do it again. Number one.
Four such common patterns in the subconscious language of deception. First, liars reference themselves less when making deceptive statements. They write or talk more about others, often using the third person to distance and disassociate themselves from their lie. Which sounds more false? Absolutely no party took place at this house, or I didn't host a party here.
All right, that was number one, Mariana. What were you able to understand about number one?
Okay, the expression for the third person, and also gives an example that when a person has a party in the house, I can remember the sentence the person said, but the last sentence that is an example of liar in the same are I didn't host a party here, and this is, for example, a liar, a lie.
Okay, okay, good. Very good. There was one thing that you mentioned that it was very accurate. Third person, right? Sorry. You're right. When someone is lying, someone is not going to speak up in first person, right? What is first person? First person is I, first person is we, right? A liar is not going to say, many times, is not going to say anything with I or with we. A liar is going to use third person. For example, if you're not lying, you can easily say, for example, I didn't do it. But if you are lying, chances are that you are going to say things like, you know, a person doesn't do that, right? That's third person. A person doesn't do that, or a man doesn't do that. A woman doesn't do that. But you can identify that that person perhaps is lying. And why? Because instead of saying I don't do that or I didn't do it, is using the third person expression. And why they use third person? Because they want to distance, right, themselves from their lie. They are putting some distance between them and the lie, right? So that's interesting. I don't know if you sometimes listen to some lies like that, Mariana. Have you ever heard using third person to some people that were lying?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Let's go to the second one. This is the second thing that we need to recognize. I think also we watched this with you, but it's important to go again and to clarify this. Second part.
Second, liars tend to be more negative because, on a subconscious level, they feel guilty about lying. For example, a liar might say something like, "Sorry, my stupid phone battery died. I hate that thing." Third, liars typically
Right? That was the third one, right? I know that we checked that also the first one, but what do you get about the second thing, Maria?
The person that lies tends more to be negative, and this is an example that when someone um, said my stupid phone battery died, I hate that thing, or something like that, like the example in the video.
Yes, correct, right? When someone is lying, they need to be more negative. Also, they feel guilty, right? They feel guilty. It means that they know that they are lying. And at a subconscious level, they are angry sometimes at themselves. And that's why out of the nowhere, right? Out of the blue, they feel like angry. And that's why they tend to be more negative and more aggressive with things like the ones you mentioned. Very well. Let's go to number three, please. The one over here. Sorry. Okay,
explain events in simple terms.
a little bit before.
Third, liars typically explain events in simple terms, since our brains struggle to build a complex lie. Judgment and evaluation are complex things for our brains to compute.
That is number three. What are you able to understand about number three, Maria?
The liars can express the lie in a more simple expression, and this is the examples that I can understand very well, but the main area is that their expressions are very more fluid, maybe.
Okay, yes. The one word that you mentioned is key, simple, right? Keep simple. It says liars typically explain events in simple terms. Why? Because when you're lying, you don't have time to structure things in a complex way, right? When you lie, you have to be simple and you explain things in a simple way. And they say this, right? Since our brains struggle to build a complex lie, right? If we wanted to lie, but a complex lie, it would take more time. And of course, they don't want to be like thinking a lot because they are lying and they don't want to be spotted, right? They don't want to be identified. And the last one over here, right? Our complex things for our brains to compute. Let's go to number four now, please, Mariana. This can be a little bit, not the opposite, but try to relate this to the idea of simple. Mariana?
Our brains to compute. As a US president once famously
Now,
insisted,
this is one of the examples, right?
"I did not have sexual relations with that woman." And finally, even though liars keep descriptions simple, they tend to use longer and more convoluted sentence structure, inserting unnecessary words and irrelevant but factual sounding details in order to pad the lie. Another president confronted with a scandal proclaimed, "I can say categorically that this investigation indicates that no one on the White House staff, no one in this administration presently employed was involved in this very bizarre incident."
All right. And also we watch this, but what can you tell me about number four, Mariana?
I can understand very well, but the expressions are more simple, and I don't know if the relation with the first sentence that are I didn't not have a sexual relations with that woman. I don't know what is the relation, but I think that the main idea is that are more simple, maybe.
Yes, yes, and actually, that example, Mariana, sorry I didn't play. That example was part of number three, right? That example was part of number three. Yes, and the number
Ah,
three is
okay.
they are more simple. But in number four, let's read what they have over here. We're going to play it again with subtitles. Look, this is part again of number three.
With that woman. And finally,
This is number four. This word is very important. Even though, all right, even though liars keep descriptions simple, okay, yes, they are simple, Mariana, you are right. But number four is about the following.
even though liars keep descriptions simple, they tend to use longer.
This is the important part. Even though the descriptions are simple, they use what? Longer and more convoluted sentences or sentence structure. It means that they are going to say what? Over here, they insert or they say many unnecessary words. The sentence is still simple, but they use a lot of unnecessary words and they use a lot of irrelevant facts or irrelevant ideas. Like the last example, right, that we have over there. This president was saying, right, all these long sentence, but this sentence actually is simple, but he is saying unnecessary things and he's saying irrelevant things just to seem a little bit more complex, but it's not more complex. It's still simple, but with unnecessary and irrelevant facts, right? Now, again, I already told you about this, but I think that now we have the four things clearer, right? They are clearer. What can you tell me about these four things, Mariana? And out of these four, which ones were you able to identify in some people that were lying sometimes to you?
Um, Personally, I think that the most common type of lie is when a person tends more a being negative. Um, I can appreciate this because an example with a friend, my friend lies me, and the expressions are very negative with the um, I didn't know how to say malas palabras, bad words.
Okay, yes, yes, bad
Uh,
words to insult. Good bad words. Great.
and I think that is the same like negative for.
Okay, okay, good. Yes, actually, I agree with you. I think that's the most common one. Also, third person is very common, but when someone is aggressive or negative out of the nowhere, right, without any sense and without any reason, it means that perhaps that person is lying. Of course, that's not 100% of the time, right? Sometimes you can be aggressive, but you're not lying. It's because you have emotions over there. But yes, it happens. So again, I went over this again one more time, Mariana, because I wanted to be sure that everything there was like understood. Do you have any final questions or comments about this topic that is lying and about this video, Mariana?
No teacher.
Okay, great. We used more time. I know that we
No teacher. It's all okay.
perfect. So, we've used more time. Thank you for being in today's conversation. Again, it was the last one. We're going to see yet on Monday. So, I'll be waiting for you. Remember, tomorrow, no classes. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Try to complete everything you have to. It's only until tomorrow, Unit 4. No, it's until Monday, sorry. So, you still have time to complete Unit 4. And you know that the final test is going to be on Monday. And maximum, you can complete it on Tuesday at noon. All right. Do you have any questions about that?
No teacher. It's all okay.
Great. Perfect. Thank you very much one more time, Mariana. Have a nice weekend. See you on Monday.
Bye, teacher. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hello, good evening, Daniela. How are you?
Hello, teacher. Great, thank you.
That's great. Perfect, Daniela. So you know that today is going to be like the last conversation we're going to have. Not only, well, the course's last conversation, but also because from next, let's say, a course or level, you're going to be in a new level with a new product and with a new teacher, right? You're going to be checking some new things over there. So I would like to spend today's conversation, Daniela, in a little bit about the feedback. You know that you have the option that is optional of going to the web page that I gave you, right? And give me a feedback over there. That's going to be for me, right? And only for me. But right now, perhaps it can be about me as your teacher, but also about the course, about the product, about everything. I would like you to tell me your thoughts about everything, please, Daniel. And we're going to go one by one. How did you feel first these, let's say, months or these models using Pearson, Daniela? How was Pearson for you? How did you feel it?
Um, I think that it's a good book. I feel that I learn es aprender, ¿no?
I learned, or if it's in past, I learned.
I learned um, things, new things,
Mhm.
and it's a very interesting book.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much for that feedback. I know that sometimes you, and of course your partners too, had some problems with Pearson. You know, it's technology, right? And technology is always going to have some problems, right? Technical problems. Many things happen. But I think overall, all of you were able to use Pearson in a very good way, and that's great to know. Now, I want to ask you the following. Looking at the grades and everything, you have one of the highest scores, all right, Daniela? So you've always been a great student. You've always done great at Pearson and so on and so forth, and that's great. But I want to ask you something then. How do you feel the level of Pearson? Was it easy? Was it too hard? Was it like the level you need? How did you feel it in terms of the level, Daniel?
In terms of the level, I think that um, it's great for me, but I think that the methodology it's a little, eh, ¿cómo se dice parecido?
Similar, a little similar.
A little similar, like school methodology. I don't know how.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it's good. Yes, it's similar to school methodology. Okay, so the way Pearson is structured, you feel that is too similar to what you do at school, right?
Yes, in the methodology, because in the level is more difficult person, but in the methodology, it's similar to methodology of schools.
Okay, okay. And do you feel that as negative or as positive, Daniela? And if it's perhaps not negative, but do you think that it was useful? If you were to change one thing about Pearson, Daniela, what would you change about Pearson?
Um, I don't know. For example, I understand very well how to read, or I understand when um, people speak me in English, but my difficult is more for speak.
Uh-huh.
It's difficult to me speak and order my words.
Good. Okay. Good. Yes. Yes. That's always sometimes the hardest part, Daniela. So, do you feel that Pearson is also weak to make you practice speaking, perhaps?
Yes, I think that person needs more. um, mm, thematics of
Ah, good topics. You can say topics is
topics
better. Uh-huh.
topics of more speak or more um, videos or more inclusive, more for writing paragraphs, because
Okay.
writing help to thinking more in English.
Yes. Yes, correct. I agree with you. Yeah. Pearson, yes, they have, right, like the speaking part, but executive English as a program, notice that the Pearson part of speaking is only repeat, right? You have a sentence, you have a word, and you have to repeat. That's why executive English decided to have these conversations on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? Because at least in this way we are practicing a little bit of speaking. I think it helps a lot. And this is my next question, Daniel. I agree with you. Pearson also has writing exercises, but perhaps they are not as complex. Sometimes they are too simple and only one per topic, right? You could have more writing exercises to practice even more. I also agree with that, Daniela. And just one thing to help you with the vocabulary, if you want to say incluso, it's better if you say even, all
Okay.
right? Even, because if you say like inclusive, is the idea of ser inclusivo, no? Añadir ideas, ser inclusivo. But it doesn't mean incluso in the sense you told me. All right,
Okay.
so even. Good, yes. Even, right? They should have more writing exercises. Great. Now, Daniela, and because the thing I told you, we added these conversations, right? 15-minute conversations. Sometimes we check some questions, sometimes we do something else. But how did you feel these 15-minute personal conversations that we had, Daniela? Were they useful for you? Do you suggest any changes? What do you think about this personal time that we have with each student?
Yes, I think that it was useful for me, but I think that it's a short time that maybe the time mm, I don't know how to say pasa muy rápido.
Oh, yes, you can use the similar word. You can say passes quickly. The time passes quickly.
The time passes quickly, and I think that well, I know that it's difficult because there are many students, but I think that the time is short, but it's very useful for me.
Good. That's perfect also to know, Daniela. Again, all the feedback, right? Toda la retroalimentación, all the feedback that you can give us is very important. As I told you, this is for the course in general. You know that you can give me also from some feedback in the webpage I gave you, but right now, just about the course. And it's great that you can tell me all those details to see how the program can improve more, right? So, well, some people were telling me, yes, that is short, can be perhaps one conversation of 30 minutes. But what would you prefer, Daniela? I think, yes, it's a little bit hard to have more time. But if we change the idea, for example, instead of having two conversations of 15 minutes, will it be better for you to have only one conversation of 30 minutes, only once a week, or would it be the same for you?
Mm, yes, I think that maybe can be better talk 30 minutes one time for the week, because it's more time, and you can't learn better. I think, I don't know.
Okay, that's good. Yes, I'm asking you that, Daniela, because many other students told me that. Other students even asked for permission and they told me, please, teacher, I'm going to be only one day. Can I be only half an hour, right? That day and not on Thursdays or not on Tuesdays. So we have that idea, all right? So we're going to make that work perhaps. I'm going to tell that to administration or management, Daniela. And the last question now it's about well, it's going to be about me as your teacher. Of course, we've been working a lot of time, and you can tell me only the things you want to mention. But I would like you to tell me two things, Daniela. What is the thing perhaps that you find as, let's say, positive about me as your teacher? And I would like you also to tell me one recommendation that you can tell me to even improve a little bit more, right? We could do this or that. What do you say, Daniela? What is the positive thing that you find about me being your teacher? And what is the recommendation that you perhaps can give me to improve methodology or other things?
Okay, I think that the positive thing is that well, I like your classes very much because you explain very, I don't know how to say entendible,
Ah, yes, in a very understandable way.
very understandable way, and the topics um, being more easy for the form that you explain, and the participation of the people because we can um, improve. No,
Mhm.
yes, I think that the word is improve.
Yeah,
Mm,
improve. I think that that's the word you want to use also, Daniela. It works great there.
okay, improve our conversation and pronunciation with the reading the text.
Good. Uh-huh. Very good. All right.
Yes, and I think that mm, with recommendation,
Mhm.
well, I think that you add in the last classes that add I don't know if I speak very good, but I think that it's good that you add videos.
Uh-huh. Good. Videos. All right. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I noticed that, Daniela. Thank you very much for, well, first, the positive things that you mentioned and this recommendation. Yes. I think it's very important to add some videos to make you practice even a little bit more listening and perhaps to distract a little bit with that, right? So you're telling me, and according to you, Daniela, you know that it's also bad if I show only videos the whole class and so on. Mm, Perhaps is it okay to show videos for you all classes only for 5 minutes, only for 10 minutes? What do you think about that?
I think that you can add videos every class because if it's only theory, maybe we can tire it. We
Yes,
can
we get tired. We get tired.
sometime and we can distractions maybe. So you can add video in the I don't know how to say mitad de la clase or something like
Mhm.
that or distract us a little. I don't know how to
Great,
say
great. No, that was perfect, Daniel. And the word that you wanted to say, en el medio, it's in the middle, right? In the middle
the
of the
middle.
class. Okay, yes, that's great, Daniela. Yes, I think that recommendation of feedback is going to help me a lot. I was thinking of doing that. I didn't know where exactly to play the video at the beginning, at the end of the class, in the middle of the class. But the thing that you're telling me is correct, Daniela. Sometimes 1 hour, 1 hour and 30 minutes, it's a lot, right? And working in front of a computer, listening to the same thing, I understand very well because I also get tired, right? I get tired,
Yes.
you get tired. So it's important to have perhaps a short uh, space over there, right? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, watch some videos. And of course, it's going to be in English to make you practice your listening, to have conversation about that. And I totally agree with that. So thank you very much for that feedback, Daniela. I think that's going to be it. I don't know if you have any final comments or anything else that you want to say. Remember that tomorrow there's no classes, but you need to finish the 4 units these days, right? Until Monday. You have until Monday to finish the 4 units. On Monday, we have classes. It's going to be normal. We have classes. We finish what we need to finish. I'm going to solve some doubts if you have some doubts. And I'm going to assign, and this, please, Daniela, take this into account. The final quiz or the final test is going to be assigned on Monday morning even. So you have the entire Monday morning, afternoon, evening, and you have until Tuesday, all right, Tuesday afternoon to take the final test, because after that I have to send the grades and the scores to management. Do you have any questions about that, Daniela?
Okay, teacher. No, thank you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much again for everything. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy this holiday and the weekend, and I'll see you on Monday, Daniela.
Thank you, teacher. You too.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hello, good evening, Gaston. How are you?
Good evening, teacher.
Hello. How are you? Is everything okay?
Okay, teacher.
Yes, Gaston. Can you hear me? ¿Puedes oírme?
Sorry. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. And you, teacher?
Okay, that's perfect. I'm fine also, Gaston. Thank you very much. Gaston, were you able to fix the problem that you had about your username in Pearson?
No, teacher, I can't. I
Are
really,
you?
yes,
Okay.
sí, teacher, porque no pude y no sé, no me salen las opciones, solo me sale una opción y en esa opción me lleva ese curso 4.
Uh,
No sé.
are you in your computer right now, Gaston? ¿Estás en tu computadora ahora?
Yes.
Can you share your screen, please? Go to Pearson, ve a Pearson y comparte tu pantalla, por favor, Gastón. Te voy a ir guiando para ver cómo podemos solucionar esto. Podemos aprovechar ahora, all right? I'm going to try
Okay.
to guide you in English. All right, sometimes it happens, a veces sucede. It's weird, raro, but the thing is that your username is still there, ¿no? La cuestión es que tu nombre de usuario todavía está ahí. So you're still active in the course, aún estás activo en el curso. But from your account, desde tu cuenta, I'm going to be able to see what's happening, ¿no? Voy a poder ver bien qué es lo que sucede.
Okay. Can you see there?
Yes, I can see it very well. Great. So let's log in, please.
Okay, this is my,
That's the information that you use, right? The student for good. So let's wait the product. Yes, good. You
okay.
have the third product. Very well.
Oh, okay.
Now
Ya,
you
ya,
have it there, right? Okay. I don't
sí,
know.
ya me
Sometimes
salió.
it happens, Gastón. A veces entran a mantenimiento y algunas cosas no funcionan bien, etcétera.
Oh, okay.
Pero después se actualiza y vuelve a funcionar. Okay, so it's working now, right? Está funcionando
Yes,
entonces.
thank you, teacher. Le
That's
prometo
great.
que en la mañana intenté y en la tarde me salía lo mismo, entonces estaba súper asustado de haber perdido todo.
Ya, no, don't worry, Gastón, and that's understandable. Y es súper entendible eso. No te preocupes, pasa. Así que más bien gracias por contactarme. Y a veces si pasa eso nuevamente, dale un vistazo o intenta un poco más tarde, así a veces se normaliza todo. Caso contrario, puedes nuevamente contactar al docente o puedes contactar también directamente a Melissa para preguntar, pero normalmente no debería pasar eso, eso es muy raro, entonces ha de ser un error del sistema, Gastón. ¿Ok?
Okay, okay, teacher.
Very good. So, Gaston, today we're going to practice a little bit different. Va a ser una práctica un poco diferente porque va a ser una cosa entre práctica y entre justamente un proceso de feedback, ya que es la última conversación. Yo te voy a hacer preguntas en inglés sobre lo que ha sido todo, desde la plataforma, desde las clases, el curso, etcétera, incluso de mi persona, y trata de responderme igual todo en inglés con el material y con el recurso que puedas, Gastón. So, I'm going to begin. Gaston, the first question is the following. You were using Pearson all this time, right? And with Pearson, you have been doing many things. The assignments, the quizzes, the final test, everything is on Pearson. My question goes there, Gaston. How do you feel Pearson, Gaston? For you, is Pearson a good platform? Is Pearson a bad platform? How do you see and how do you feel Pearson?
I think it's a good platform because always I can practice all the the new I don't know how to say contenido
The new content, the new content.
content. So it's very better. It's the better for practice.
Okay, good. Instead of better, perhaps you can say there over there, the best for practicing, right? It's the best for practicing. Okay, okay, Gaston. Can you tell me, please, one positive thing about Pearson and one negative thing about Pearson, please?
Okay. The I like the person I when I was um, bad in my answers,
Mhm.
some can be show the correct answers, and I like this because I can learn more. But
Great.
the only thing I can't doing uh, good now is when I have uh, I can poner todo las palabras. I don't know how to explain. Uh,
Okay. But what's the problem? Try to explain in Spanish. I'm going to help you there, Gaston.
Hay una parte del English Lab que siempre me equivoco, o sea, que lo hago siempre todo mal, que es cuando dice que hay que rellenarlo con nuestras palabras. Entonces, no sé si hay que poner is o qué más, porque siempre me sale mal, digamos. Aunque yo
Okay,
tengo
okay.
la respuesta. Entonces, es como que pongo una palabra de más o una menos. Entonces, eso.
All right, all right. Yes, I think that's the hardest exercise, right? That's the hardest exercise. Yes, because you need to be like very, very perfectionist with that. Because Pearson, in some places, they even see if you are using capital letter, no, mayúsculas, or lowercase letter, minúsculas, punctuation, puntuación. So, for example, if your sentence is okay, but you don't use a period or you don't use one word, no usas un punto o una palabra, it's going to be incorrect. Yes, I agree with you. Those are very hard, son muy difíciles, but it's also a challenge, right? It's also a challenge, es también un reto. Maybe practicing more and more with those exercises is going to help you a lot. What I advise there, Gaston, lo que recomendaría ahí, is try to go back to the ones you already solved. ¿No? Trata de volver a los que ya resolviste, because remember, as a student, you have the chance of taking the assignments anytime you want. Quiero decir que cuando tú quieras puedes tomar las asignaciones, Gastón, no solamente cuando se te asigna. Entonces, lo que yo te recomendaría para practicar esta parte es go to course, ¿no? Ve a curso, and select that unit, ¿no? Selecciona esa unidad. Try to practice that again and again, ¿no? Trata de practicar una vez y otra vez until you have it. But I get that part, Gaston. So you can explain it that way. Podría explicar de esta manera, right? The exercise in which we have to use all the words, ¿no? En el que tenemos que usar todas las palabras. In which significa en el cual, ¿ya? In which we have to use all the words, right? And put them in the right place, ¿no? Y colocarlas and put them in the right place, ¿no? En el lugar correcto. Muchas veces en inglés, más que correct, se usa la palabra right, Gastón. Entonces tú podrías decir in the right place, que significa en el lugar correcto. Ok, but that's good to know, Gastón. Es bueno tener ese feedback para quizá más adelante que el docente les ayude a resolver una o dos, ¿no? Juntos en el curso y después ustedes lo hacen por su parte. That's good to take into account. The second question, Gaston, about the conversations, right? The 15-minute conversations. How did you feel these conversations, Gaston? Were they useful for you? What do you think about them?
I really like these days because I can speak on. I only speak with you, and I don't nervous.
Mhm.
Or I don't have.
You can say there, Gaston. It's better if you say, I don't get nervous. No me pongo nervioso significa. I
Okay,
don't get nervous.
okay. I don't get nervous, and is very better. Is very important to my speaking and my um, um, I don't know, escuchar,
To my listening. You can say that.
to my
Yeah?
listening,
To
yes,
my speaking and to my listening. Okay, Gaston,
yes.
that's great to know. I agree with you. When it's a personal conversation, we don't have the pressure of being in a group, right? And you know, Gaston, I would like to spend more time with all of you in class, but it's hard, right? There are at least 9 of you, 8 of you, and it's really hard that I can spend more time with you. But also because of what you're saying, Gaston, sometimes you even feel more nervous, right? When you are with other people. But that's good. It's good. And I'm happy that you can practice and that you feel comfortable here having private conversation, Gaston. That's good to know. And again, the same question, Gaston. You can repeat what you said, but what is the positive thing and what is the negative thing about the private conversations?
Sorry, teacher, I can hear you very well.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now, Gaston?
Yes, now
Okay.
yes.
So one more time, you can repeat if you want what you said, Gaston, but the following is the next question. What is the positive thing about the private conversations, right? These conversations, and what is the negative thing about these conversations?
Okay, the positive thing is I can't get nervous, and I work more my speaking and my listening, and I don't have any bad reason or experience in this 15 minutes. So it's very good for me.
That's great, Gaston. I'm really glad to hear that. All this feedback is going to be also for management because we want to see if perhaps there are going to be some changes. So it's great to know, Gaston. And the last question is the following, and it's about me. You know that, well, it's going to be the last time I'm going to be your teacher because next month you're going to be in a new level. You're going to be with a new product and you're going to be with a new teacher, right? And that's good because it's important to change. I've been with your partners for 3 months already, A7, A8, and A9. So this is my last month with you and with your partners over there. And the question is the following, and it's about me, Gaston. How did you feel with me in these courses? If you can tell me perhaps two things, and I know that it's hard to say perhaps, right, like this is negative, no, but I'm going to ask you this, Gaston. What is the positive thing, or what was the positive thing about me as your teacher, and what is a recommendation that you can give me to improve my teaching or my methodology, Gaston?
Okay, I am very sincere. Um, I really like when you always talk in English, because I work my most problem.
Uh-huh.
My problem is that my listening. So I like when you talk all the classes in English, and when I have questions in Spanish, you can uh, answer
Uh-huh.
that. But
Okay.
this is the most important, because you can I really learning the English. So this is
Right.
the most important.
Very good, Gaston. Very good. And one recommendation that perhaps you can give me to improve or change in methodology. For example, I'm going to give you an example. Daniela told me, teacher, you should do what you did in the last classes. You showed us some videos to practice a little bit of that because, sometimes I don't show a lot of videos because I prefer to make you speak and so on. But what is a recommendation or something that you will tell me, teacher, you should add this and that's going to be better for us and so on? One recommendation that you can give me, Gaston.
I think we can um, work more with videos for work our listening, because
Okay.
we always work the grammar, but
Mhm.
in the videos we can learn more the vocabulary and the listening. So I think it's a good recommendation.
Okay. Perfect.
Always
Perfect. Got it.
the course.
Perfect. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. Also, Daniela was telling me that. I totally agree with that. Perhaps not watching videos all the class, right? But only 5 minutes, 10 minutes to have new words, as you're saying, right? To learn new words and to have a conversation like we do perhaps in the 15-minute conversations, right? Very similar to that. All right. And I think that's going to be it for today, Gaston. I don't know if you have any final questions or comments about this. Just to remind you, Gaston, remember that this is the last unit. It's until Monday. You can finish everything until Monday, and the final test is going to be assigned on Monday, Gaston. And it's going to be all Monday. Starting Monday morning, you can take the final quiz if you feel ready. But you have Monday morning, you have Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and maximum you have Tuesday morning because the last chance is until noon, mediodía, right?
Okay.
Until noon. Noon is going to be the last time that you can take the final exam, Gaston. Why? Because after that time, I have to send the scores to management, right? So I need to have all your scores over there. Do you have any questions about that, Gaston?
Yes, teacher. I have a question. You can assign it the final test very early. I don't know, at 7 a.m. I don't know. You
Yes,
can?
yes, but also Gaston, remember that we are going to have classes on Monday. It's going to be normal. So yes, actually, I'm going to assign, and the final test is going to be ready from starting the 00 on Monday.
Oh,
All right, it means
okay, nice.
1 o'clock.
Okay.
But if you want to be sure, you can take it before, or you can take it after the class that you're going to have with me on Monday that night. Okay?
I do the final test before, because in the day I can't do that, and after we final the classes, I am very tired, so I prefer do the test in the morning. I don't know,
Perfect, Gaston.
8 or
Perfect. So it's
7
going to be
a.m.
perfect. It's going to be starting then 1 a.m. on Monday, and you're going to have that entire day and until Tuesday. Okay?
Okay, okay, teacher. Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
You're very welcome. See you Monday then, Gaston. Have a good
Thank you,
weekend.
teacher. Thank you. See
Bye
you
bye.
Monday. Have
See you.
a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaston. You too.
Bye, teacher.
Hello, Marcelo. Good evening. How are you?
Hello, teacher. Good evening. I'm fine, thanks.
That's great. So today is going to be a little bit different, Marcelo, because we're having the conversation, but it's going to be a mixture between a conversation and a feedback of the entire course of the platform and the experience that you've had so far in the program. All right. So the first question is going to be the following, Marcelo. Pearson, right? You know that you've been using Pearson a lot for completing the assignments, for taking the quizzes, even for taking the final test. So Pearson has been part of your English learning this time. Now, my first question goes there, Marcelo. How do you feel about Pearson? What do you think about Pearson? For you, is it a good platform, a bad platform, more or less? What do you think in general about Pearson,
Um, I think that Pearson is a good platform, but I think that they are so uh, uh, hmm, the the page
Marcelo?
uh, is such a strict stricto
Oh, yes, strict. Okay, it's too strict.
strict
Okay, why?
is
In which way do you believe it is strict?
uh, because before that uh, course I was in the CBA, and in the CBA we also use Pearson, and I can remember in that two courses that I passed that is it has only one answer when when we do an exercise or something uh, equal that we can practice our English
Mhm.
is so strict about that. Person
Okay,
doesn't didn't tell you that you have to put that, but it's better if you put that verb. How
okay.
uh, uh,
Perhaps you wanted to be more flexible with the correct answers that there can be there, Marcelo?
yes, yes, exactly, teacher.
Okay, okay. So because sometimes perhaps another answer can also be good, but is not correct in that exact situation, and perhaps you want Pearson to let you know that, right?
All right, yes.
Okay, okay, good. Yes, I agree with you. Sometimes I think it's hard. I'm not a programmer. I don't know too much about, let's say, working with apps or creating apps or programs, but I think that and nowadays, it's easier to work with more flexible programs. I hope that Pearson are going to be able to do that, right? To update and to show possible answers and not to be that strict with the answers, telling you, right, that was not the right answer, so it's incorrect directly. I agree with you, Marcelo. And you know that the program is in contact with people who work at Pearson. So perhaps I'm going to let them know so that they can contact them and give them this feedback. Of course, they're not going to change everything right away, but it's important that you can let us know that. All right? Good. So, one more thing that I want to ask you there, Marcelo. You already told me, right? On positive things, you believe it's a good platform, but it's too strict. They are not that flexible. Adding to that, Marcelo, what other positive thing can you tell me about Pearson, and what other negative thing or what other recommendation would you give to Pearson?
Mm, mm, uh, um, I think that Pearson is it's the best platform because that we know, obviously,
Mhm.
because eh, the teacher can segment uh, to that you can try two times or three, and I think that
Mhm.
it is good. Person has a lot of settings
Good.
to do,
Good.
and it's in order. You have uh, all the all the uh, all the things that you need to study. And
Very
I
good.
think that is a positive thing that I can say of our person.
Very well, very well. Yes, I agree with you. There are many options, right? And that's good for teachers, for students. I have the option of giving you clues or not giving you clues, hints, the number of attempts that you have, all those things that you mentioned, right? Yes, I agree. That's really positive. And one more thing that perhaps you find it not as negative, but something that can improve or that can be better.
Um, I think that I have an answer, but I try to organize my ideas.
Uh-huh.
Um, the, it's a good page, but it has a a white and black color in this page, and it is
Okay.
a common. I think that it common uh, pages has only black and white, and that, and can
Okay.
uh, it can decide if you're bored. I don't know.
Okay, okay, no, that's good, and actually that's very important, Marcelo, because nowadays many professions are dedicated to working with the design, right? The design of the web page, because it has to be a good design for students. It has to be something that can make you get interested, right, in being in Pearson. Because if you're in Pearson or on Pearson and you feel that you are bored and you feel that those colors or the design of the web page doesn't help you, right, get involved, that's important, right? There are many, many new careers that are only dedicated to design, to appearance, right? And that's good to know, Marcelo. So thank you also for that. I think that's a new comment that you're giving me, but it's really positive because it gives an idea of what to work over there. The next, let's say, set of questions go to these conversations, Marcelo, these 15-minute conversations that we have on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I want to know again your general perspective, but directly you can tell me after your general perspective, what is some positive thing that you find about these 15-minute conversations, and what is one negative thing that you can find about
Positive thing that I guess that can be or could be uh, the way that we try to improve our English, I
it?
think.
Good.
And it's yes, other institutes. I don't know that they have, sorry, they have that conversation. Negative things. Um,
Perfect.
I think that it doesn't have negative things because you can talk, and it is the main idea, I suppose. If you try to talk with native Americans or
Mhm.
something that someone that talk in English, it's uh, it's very well because you're improving and you're prepared to talk, and it's good. I
That's
have
great.
only good. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Marcelo. It's really, well, I agree with you. Perhaps many other institutes, and I'm not going to be like saying, right, they don't have this or that, but yes, they don't pay too much attention to speaking, right? And I think speaking is one of the main things that we should practice. So, yes, I think these conversations, right, or these spaces, these places give us this like opportunity, right, to practice more these skills that sometimes are not taken into account. So it's great to know that, Marcelo. I hope that these conversations perhaps were really helpful for you in improving your speaking skills, your listening skills. But I can see very well that you have like a lot of skills over there, Marcelo. Just keep practicing them. And again, I hope that this was helpful for you. And the next and last question goes to this. You know, Marcelo, that you have the chance of making this feedback on the web page that I gave you the last time. you can still do it. But here also, as part of this last conversation, Marcelo, I would like to ask you that as well. uh, Having me right as a teacher this time, I've been from A7, A8, and A9, and this is going to be the last month because the next month is going to be a new product, right? It's going to be a new teacher, and it's good because you have to listen to different accents or to different ways of teaching and learning. But I want to know what's the positive thing that you can find about me being your teacher this time, and perhaps not mentioning a negative thing because it's going to be like many people don't want to say that's negative, but a recommendation that you can give me, right? But a recommendation that you can give me and say, for example, teacher, you can do this, or you can add this or that to even do your classes, right, a little bit more dynamic or something like that. All right, so something positive and a recommendation that you can give me to improve myself. What do you say?
Okay, teacher. uh, I usually uh, have to improve my English or to learn my English in an uh, older um, version version
Okay, yes, version. Good.
version, and now when I made the picture, I think I saw the English in other way, and I think that it is a positive thing because I improve uh, very much my English because um, you can talk with us with a basic English. You and it is wow, so interesting because you can use a phrasal verbs or other things, but you know that we don't have the main idea of the verbs, and
Uh-huh.
it's good. I think that it's positive thing, and uh, I I saw that all the students that you teach, because if I know more than other students, you try to talk to me with more advanced English.
Yes.
uh, I noticed that, but if I have a bad or a little English to, if I am a little speaker,
Uh-huh.
you try to understand me, or I think that it is good. I noticed that.
Okay. Good,
Bad
good.
thing, I think that it's not about you, teacher, but I
Uh-huh.
think that week per week we have to do that homework that is Pearson. I
Uh-huh.
think that it is
It's a
so.
lot sometimes. Okay.
Yeah, but it is not for you. You
Okay.
do. Yes.
Great, great, Marcelo. No, thank you. I really appreciate those words. I'm really glad that you were able to notice those things. Yes, I think it's important that we can adapt, right, to the many necessities that many students can have. Some of you are going to have higher level in speaking. Some of you are going to have a low level or are not going to be as good as others in certain skills. So I think it's important, and thanks for noticing that, Marcelo. I'm going to make also administration or management know about the amount of assignments. And we're going to see to get to a part in which you don't have that much homework, but instead you can have other kind of practices in which you can practice your speaking and your listening skills. All right. So that's going to be it for today, Marcelo. Again, you know that you have the chance of going to that web page. Please, if you can do it, all that feedback there in a video is going to be really valuable for me. That's it for today, Marcelo, and I'll see you directly on Monday. Remember, tomorrow there's no classes, so Monday is going to be the last class and the final test, and well, the last class with me as well. All right?
All right, teacher.
Perfect. Thank you very much again for everything. Have a nice weekend and see you Monday, Marcelo.
Okay, teacher. Have a nice weekend. I see you Monday.
See you Monday. Bye bye. Hello, good evening, Lourdes. How are you?
Hi, teacher. Good evening. I'm fine,
Hello.
thank you. And you?
That's great. I'm fine, thank you, Lourdes. You know that this conversation, I'm doing this a little bit different because it's the last conversation we're having, and I'm taking this time to have some feedback, not only, of course, about me, but it's going to be about everything: the platform, the perhaps the ways that we've been teaching you English in the program, and so on. So I want to begin with this question, Lourdes. The first one is with Pearson. You know that Pearson is the main platform that we use to teach English, to practice English, and so on. What is your perspective on Pearson so far, Lourdes? For example, I want to know this perspective from you because I know that you have a high level in English, and sometimes perhaps Pearson was or too easy for you, or you feel it differently, right? It was different for your partners, but for you, Lourdes, how did you feel Pearson, and what do you think about Pearson, generally speaking?
I think that it's a good platform, but in my case, I feel the exercise may be so easy.
Mhm.
Um, but in the interface or some other things, I think that it's great.
Okay, good. Yes, I noticed that, Lourdes, you have a higher level than your partners. That's why perhaps you felt that it was easy. I was asking the same to some of your partners, but they felt that it was the right level, right? But I think it's because, yes, you have a higher level than them and you felt that. But I hope at least you were able to grab some new words or practice or remember some things. For example, I think that the most valuable thing that Pearson can give you these levels is some of those phrasal verbs that they were showing you, some interesting rules that can be in between the rules that you already knew, right? So there were some things that perhaps were valuable for you, and I hope that you were able to take advantage of them. And then I have one more question over there, Lourdes. You mentioned the interface, you mentioned the way it's structured, right, and everything. Can you tell me, please, at least one more thing that is positive about Pearson from your perspective, and one more thing that you find that is negative about Pearson, something that you didn't mention?
Yes, I think that, like you said, there is some things very interesting. For example, I really, really like that in some sections, maybe grammar and vocabulary, there is a like a light in
Mhm.
the right on the top that gives you the meaning of some words like
All
phrasal
right.
verbs or anything that it's related with the unit. So I think that it's that it's very useful
Mhm.
to improve our vocabulary.
All right.
And um, I don't know why what can I say about bad in the
Okay.
platform because I really didn't have any problems.
Okay.
So I don't have anything bad to say.
Okay, that's good, Lourdes. I mean, the only perhaps, I don't know if it's a problem. Sometimes it's positive that you can work even you feel that it's easy, but perhaps it's going to get harder and harder, right, as you get on. But I feel that, yes, I also felt that on your part, but it's great that even if it was easy or if it was something that you already knew, right, you were able to take advantage of some things or try to learn right with those little details that it had, like for example the meaning of the words and so on. That's great. The next question is going to be related to these things that we do to teach you English, and one of those is these 15-minute conversations, right, private conversations that we have. The same questions over there, Lourdes. How do you see and how do you feel with these 15-minute conversations? And what is perhaps that one thing that you find that is really positive for you? And one thing that perhaps, if it's not negative, one recommendation that you can give to improve these conversations? What do you say?
I think that in this module in particular was very useful that you used videos for the conversation sessions because I really like uh, watch videos on maybe I learn more watch and listening that even reading. So and even in this mobile, I feel more comfortable in these conversation sessions. I don't know, maybe it's same video
Okay.
because I said I really enjoy watch videos and listening the English and not too much reading. So I really appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
And um, I don't know, like um, no, I maybe at the beginning. In my case, I don't have any problem, but maybe at the
Yeah.
beginning with other partners or other people could be more useful. Talk about topics that are interesting for them. For example, in my
Okay.
case, I don't know, I really like volleyball, so try to find videos in English about talking about volleyball. So
Okay.
for example, when we watched the video about music, like I knew so much about that topic, and I felt that I I talk more
Mm-hmm.
and that the information that was in the video. So maybe it could be useful for other people that maybe are a little shy or something like that.
Okay, okay, great. First, thank you for all those things, Lourdes. Yes, this month, right, I decided to do that because many of you told me in one of the feedback that I was asking you for that you were struggling with listening in general, right? The course. You told me that we have some problems with listening in Pearson. The worst part for me is the listening part because I can do it very well. That's why I decided to add these videos, right, to have the conversations, and I think it was really positive for most of you, as you're telling me, Lourdes. I think that even more than reading, right, having the chance of listening and watching a video is going to help you a lot in perhaps learning or like corroborating some vocabulary that you knew and practicing a little bit more. I agree with you on that, and thank you for that feedback. And yes, I totally agree with you, Lourdes. I noticed that in that conversation that as you had experience, right, with learning an instrument, you already knew some of the information over there. And as you mentioned very well, you were even giving more information, and that's a good thing when someone doesn't have perhaps those many words, as you're saying. Some students are shy, or some of them don't know how to express right very well, but if the video is related to something that they really like or enjoy, it's going to be very likely that they are going to be participating more, right? Or they're going to be more interested in watching the whole video and having a conversation about that. So I appreciate that feedback, that recommendation. I'm definitely going to apply that, Lourdes. And the last one is going to be about me. All right. Again, I mentioned this to Marcelo. Perhaps you heard it. You have the chance, please. It's going to be really helpful if you can do it, to go into that web page and record a very short video giving me a feedback, right? But that's going to be for me. That's something personal and only for me. But right now, it's perhaps as part of the program. And I want you to tell me, please, the same two things, Lourdes, right? And again, it's always because we want to be constructive, we want to be positive. So I want to tell me one thing that you found that it was positive or good about me being your teacher, and one recommendation or thing that you think that I can change or I can do better or I can improve, right? To perhaps even improve your experience as students learning English. So what do you say about that?
Okay, I really feel that I improved my English in this short time that I'm learning with you. I really appreciate that you try to find some other ways that we could learn better. Like in the first module that I learned with you, for example, in these conversations, we have other method, and this module have another method. So I think that in that way you are doing very well. I I really appreciate um, and I am so happy for that. I'm so happy with everything that you have told me in this time. Um, I don't know. I think that I don't have any recommendation because you are doing very well. And like I said, I really feel that I improved my English in these 2 months that I am learning from you. So thank you.
Great, great. No, thank you, Lourdes. I feel really good with those words. So thank you very much, really. Yes, I think that's the objective, right? That everybody should have, always improving, changing things in order to be better in whatever thing you do, right? If you're a teacher, if you are any kind of professional, you always have to be looking for ways of doing something different because you're doing things for someone else, perhaps, in this case, for the students. So again, Marcelo also noted those changes. Perhaps you're also mentioning that, and I really appreciate that, and I'm thankful for that, Lourdes. That's great then. So we're going to be kind of finishing here, Lourdes. I think with you, we're not going to be in contact anymore because Monday is going to be like the last class. It's going to be only some explanation. But what you need to take into account, Lourdes, is that you have until Monday to finish the 4 units, right? All the assignments. On Monday, from starting 1 a.m., you can take the final quiz. You have the entire day on Monday, and maximum, please, if this is very important, Tuesday noon. All right, Tuesday at noon is going to be the last moment at which you can take this final exam, and that's going to be it. The next class or the next course is going to begin on Wednesday, the 7th. So that's going to be a new teacher, new material, and so on and so forth. Do you have any questions or final comments before finishing, Lourdes?
No, teacher, everything it's okay.
Great, great. So again, thank you for all your words. Thanks for all the conversations. I enjoy a lot. I know that, and I told you, right, you have a very, very high level of English. That's why we were able to have these conversations. I really enjoyed the conversations. Keep practicing like that. If anytime you feel that you have a question and perhaps you ask your teacher, you don't feel comfortable with that, you can always be in contact with me. Just send a message or text me, and I'm going to try to reply as soon as I can, and we can be in touch to perhaps help us out with this learning process. Okay?
Okay, teacher, thank you very much.
Perfect. You're very welcome. So thanks for everything, and well, enjoy the rest of the course and this program, Lourdes. Bye bye.
Bye.
Hello, good evening, Fernando. How are you?
Good evening, teacher. How are
Great.
you?
Everything is fine, Fernando. How's everything going for you?
Sorry, teacher. Yesterday I couldn't be present in the class, but I reviewed the lesson.
Okay.
I saw that was separable phrasal verbs.
Yes, that's correct, Fernando. I think the good thing about that is that it's very similar to what we did. The only difference is that these verbs, right, or these phrasal verbs can have an object, right, in between the verb and the particle. Do you have any questions about what you were able to watch, Fernando?
Uh, I don't have a specific question, no, but I saw that there are some of them that can be separated and the others no.
Yes.
I don't know if is it or if is it of of is there a rule to identify those verbs.
Look, Fernando, actually, as phrasal verbs are something very specific to English, there's no a real grammar rule that we can understand from Spanish or from any other language because even the ones who decided that it's like that is just the people who speak English, right? For example, go on means continue, right? Go out means right to go to a place outside your house. Go over means to review. So these words are not like something intuitive, right? You cannot say, okay, this word means this and that. First, to know that, you need to know the meaning, right? And knowing the meaning, you're going to be sure when you can use objects in between or not. But the
Mm.
only thing is, Fernando, knowing the meaning of those words. And one thing that you can do that I was explaining in class, Fernando, is try to do this exercise. Try to locate a verb in between the phrasal verb, and phonetically speaking, and in the sense of how it sounds, you're going to recognize if that's possible or not. For example, I was telling them, right? Try to locate the word or the object me or you in between certain phrasal verbs. For example, wake up is a phrasal verb, right, Fernando? Can you say wake up using
Yes,
me in the middle of wake up?
yes, teacher.
Yes,
For
that's right.
example, yes.
What could it be? Can you give me an example, or what is that? Can you tell me that phrasal verb with
For
me?
example, I can say, can you wake me up at
Yes,
some hour?
yes, correct, exactly. In that way, you see that that's a separable phrasal verb. But try that with run into. Run into means by accident. Can you locate the object or the object pronoun you in between run and into? If you speak like that, can you give me a sentence with that, Fernando?
Between run into,
Uh-huh. Is it possible? What do you say?
run you into, run she into. I think that it's not possible.
Yes,
Like look up to.
yes, correct, exactly. So if you realize there, Fernando, then it's not a grammatical. There's no grammatical rule, at least not
Mhm.
that one that I know. I've been
It's something
learning.
like common sense, I think.
Yes, exactly. First, you need to be sure that you know the meaning of that phrasal verb, right? Because if you don't know the meaning, of course, you don't know how to use it. But if
Mm-hmm.
you know the meaning, you're going to just using common sense and using your ears, because believe me, sometimes many people say that it's not like this, but on my experience, I say that your ears are going to be your best teachers, or rather your best guide. Why? Because if it sounds weird, it's because it's not like that. Sometimes some things are correct and they sound weird. But yes, for example, if you say yesterday I ran you into, no, it doesn't make sense, right? Yesterday I ran into you, right? We met by accident. So with run into, we cannot separate that. The same the verb, the phrasal verb that you mentioned, Fernando, and many others. Try that test. If you can locate an object in between, it can be me, it can be you, it can be any object, people, or a thing, then it's separable. If it's not possible, then most likely 90% it's going to be inseparable, Fernando. But as you were saying, common sense, knowing the meaning, and playing with objects. All right?
Okay, teacher. Teacher, and what about the conjugation of this?
Yes, it's the same, exactly the same as any phrasal verbs. All phrasal verbs are conjugated as any verb, right? If the
Mhm.
verb, we have one verb, right? For example, go on, that means continue. That's inseparable phrasal verb, right? Because continue, of course, cannot have an object in between, right? I go,
Mhm.
you on, no. I go, it on, no. Continue with something, right? Go on with that. So if you want to conjugate any phrasal verb, you only conjugate the verb, right? Not the particle. So how do you say go on in past? Went on,
Went
right?
on. Okay.
We had some problems, but the meeting but the meeting went on, right? But the
Mhm.
meeting went on. The same with separable. If you have, for example, wake up, right? That phrasal verb we were talking about. You do the same. You only conjugate the main verb. For example, wake in past is going to be, what is the past of wake, Fernando? Do you remember?
Wake, woke.
Yes, correct. So if you're telling an experience, you can say, I was sleeping so good, but I don't know, right? My neighbors uh, made
Woke
or
me.
yes, produced a loud noise that it woke me up,
Woke
right?
me.
Woke me up. So you only conjugate the verb, but the particle up, the particle on, the particle over, of course, it's going to be always the same, right? And be careful when you use the present perfect, because in the present perfect, you need to use the past participle, right? For example, go over means that's inseparable. Go over means review, right? How do you form a sentence with go over in the present perfect, Fernando? What do you think?
I have go over.
Good. I have. Then what is the word after have, Fernando? One more time, please.
Uh, uh, in which teacher? Present perfect.
Yes, present perfect. What do you say?
Mm,
What could it be?
uh,
For
uh,
example, I'm going
uh,
to give you a
I,
sentence.
I
In the present perfect, it will be
I
right.
have went
Good. Good. I have read.
over.
And okay, so one more time, please, because I heard read, the word read, like the past of read. One more time, the sentence with go over, please, Fernando, in present perfect.
Mm, in present perfect.
Because you're
Uh,
doing it, right? You have plus
mhm, I,
the verb in the past participle,
in past
right? And
participle.
any
I have went over.
okay, in that part we have to be careful because your logic is good, Fernando. But what is the past participle of go? It's
Gone.
going to be gone, exactly.
Okay. I have gone over. Yes, teacher. It's a
Exactly,
correct.
right? So I have gone over that topic
Mm,
over and over again because I was not able to understand, right? So gone
mm.
over. So you have to be careful with that. For example, get, right? The phrasal
Got.
verb get on,
Mm,
exactly. Get on
mm.
is to enter a vehicle. Try to give me a sentence the same using get on, but try in the present perfect, Fernando. How would it be?
Mm. Um, I have gone. I have got on
Okay, good.
in in a in a new team player. In a new
Okay,
team, like a new
in
team
the
player.
new team player. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Most of the time, but remember, we're going to use got on because it get on can be used in that sense Get on can be used in the sense of having a good relationship with someone. Get on can be sensed in the with the meaning that is getting into one vehicle, right? A car, a taxi, a bus. Most of the time it's going to be like that. But remember also something. Yes, sometimes got can also be the past participle. It can be get, got. But mostly got is going to be past participle of get when you use expressions like for possession. For example, I've got a bike. It means I have a bike. Or for obligation, right? You've got to go. That's not, it means it's the past participle form, but it's not past. It's present, right? But the real past participle of get is going to be gotten, right? Because it's going to be get, got, gotten, right? Gotten. So it will be,
Gotten.
I have gotten on that bus.
Gotten. I have gotten on. Yes, teacher.
Exactly, right? So just be careful with that. Again, I'm just showing you that to show you that it's not hard to conjugate, Fernando. It's not hard, but the thing that we need to do is to practice and remember the conjugation of those verbs. Once you know
Teacher.
all those conjugations, you are going to be able to conjugate them in any tense.
Okay, teacher, are you saying that if I use have got gotten on, I'm speaking in present?
No, that's present perfect, but that's
Perfect,
of
perfect,
course past.
present perfect.
Uh-huh,
Mhm.
exactly. That's present perfect and that's past.
But it's
But
in Spanish is like he tenido, no?
no, it would be, remember, if you're using a phrasal verb, remember that the phrasal
Ah,
verb,
continuar, ¿no? Continúa, tomado.
exactly. Uh-huh.
Ujú.
I have gone over, revisado o he repasado. I have gotten on, me he subido. In that case, get on means subirse a un transporte. Or you can say also get on as llevarse bien con alguien. Get on has like at least 2 or 3 minutes. All right. But the most common meaning of get on, Fernando, is going to be like get on a vehicle, like subirse a un vehículo. All right. So in that case, would be I have gotten in that bus before, or sorry, on that bus before, it would be yo me he subido a ese bus antes, right? I have gotten on that bus before. But that would be the meaning, yes, Fernando. But what I was mentioning before, perhaps to make the difference here, remember that we have some expressions that use the past or the past participle of get, but is not past. For example, do you remember obligation, models of obligation, Fernando, or even of necessity? Very strong words for that are have to, have got to, and must, right? And in that sense, you're using the conjugation of have and got. And got, it's supposed to be the past participle. But in that case, just in that case, Fernando, have got is an expression that means have to, right? But stronger. I have to study more is the same as saying I have got to study more, but when you say have got to, is stronger than have to, right? You use past, you use supposedly, you use the conjugation of have and got, that can be also the past participle, but in that expression doesn't mean past, right? And doesn't mean also present perfect. In that expression, it also means obligation. I have got to. And you can also use that expression, Fernando, just in case, for possession. You're going to hear many, many times in movies. In movies, very weirdly, they say, I have a bike. Hmm. They don't say that in the movies or in English. Most of the time, they use the let's say, informal way, and they say, I got a bike. But I got a bike doesn't mean yo obtuve una bicicleta. Yo tuve una bicicleta. I got a bike means yo tengo una bicicleta.
Possession. Possession.
Exactly, possession, right? And the real way is I have got a bike. And the translation for that is the same as saying I have a bike. All right. So Only in those two situations, Fernando, have got. It's supposedly to be conjugated in past, all right, but the meaning is not past, and it's not either a present perfect. It's just an expression. The one of them for obligation, and the other one for possession, right? I don't know if perhaps it was clear that part, Fernando. Do you have any questions about that idea?
I understand the idea, teacher. I understand.
Do you have any
I have
questions,
to.
but to understand that a little bit better, Fernando?
Mm, if I do some exercises, I think that I will have
Yes, yes, yes. It's just practicing, right? Right now,
when I
well,
practice.
uh-huh.
See,
Tell me, please, Fernando. It's just that I think we're having connection problems because sometimes
well,
I hear you and it's like
or
you
when
stop
I do
talking.
some exercise, the topic is
Hey, hello, Fernando. Can you repeat one more time, please? The last part, it was like there was some problems and I was not able to hear you.
okay. Can you hear me,
Yes, I can hear you now, Fernando. What about you? Can you hear me now?
teacher? My connection is not okay. I think. Can you hear me? I can hear you, teacher.
Yes, I can hear you now, Fernando. What about you? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, teacher.
Okay, good.
I was saying you that I understand the idea, but when I do some exercises, no, or I can continue doing some practices. I will have some questions. No, it's like everything
Yes,
we know this time. Mm,
correct, Fernando. The only way is practicing, and when we practice and work with exercises, we
mm.
realize that we perhaps don't understand everything and we have some problems with something, right? You know, Fernando, because of the time we cannot work more, but practice that. Look for exercises using have got as obligation and as possession. And if you have questions, please let me know. Even you can let me know that on Monday. Remember that Monday is going to be the last class we have.
Yes,
Tomorrow
our last class.
holiday, right? Tomorrow is holiday, no classes tomorrow. You have to
Mm,
finish the four
yes.
units until Monday. All
Okay,
right? The
teacher.
four
Tomorrow
units.
no class. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. That's a
Mm.
shame. I will have liked perhaps to be one more class with all of you, but it's not going to be possible. The last class is going to be on Monday. So if you have any questions, whatever questions you have, please, Fernando, try to save those questions for Monday, and you're going to ask them out. Okay?
Okay, teacher. Teacher, the last question for ending that
Of course.
this the phrasal verbs are like modismos in Spanish.
Look, actually, and this is hard to get sometimes. No, no, not even like that. They are only verbs. We cannot translate the idea of phrasal verbs because actually we don't use phrasal verbs. Sometimes the close idea to what you're saying, Fernando, is what we call sometimes idioms, but idioms can also be something different. There's another word for what you're telling me, but it's not phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs doesn't have like let's say a similar let's say structure in Spanish. It's only like verbs. Sometimes, yes, some people consider them all right as modismos, but I would say that they are not like that. I would say that phrasal verbs are very specific to English and they are only verbs, all right? I would say they are only like complex or compound verbs that are unique to English because English also have some modismos, some idioms, but they are different to phrasal verbs. I would try to understand only phrasal verbs, Fernando, as verbs that are compound or complex, let's say. All right, but it's not going to be the same as for these ones.
Okay, teacher. Okay, teacher. Thank
Okay, good. You're very welcome, Fernando. So then we're finishing here. It was the last conversation, but I think we're able to solve the problems or the questions that you had. But again, any other
you.
questions or extra things that you want to comment on Monday, whatever doubt you have, it's going to be the last class with me. But you know that you also can be in touch with me, whatever questions you have. You can just text me, and I'm going to help you out with whatever I can help you out. Okay?
Okay, teacher. Will we have a final quiz?
Yes, yes, Fernando. The final quiz is also on Monday. It's
No.
going to be assigned on Monday morning, and you're going to have the whole Monday. You can take it in the morning, you can take it in the afternoon, you can take it in the evening after the class, or maximum on Tuesday morning before noon. Noon is the last time in which you can take that final quiz, Fernando.
Okay, teacher. It's clear. Thank you
Perfect.
very much, teacher.
Have a nice weekend, Fernando. See you Monday then.
You too, teacher. See
Thank
you on
you.
Monday.
Bye bye. Hello, good evening, Abel. How are you?
Hello, teacher. Good evening.
Hello, how's everything going for you, Abel? Is everything okay?
Yes, teacher.
That's great. You know, today is like the last conversation we have. Monday is going to be the last class, so perhaps this is the last chance of having this private conversation. So it's going to be a little bit different this time, Abel. It's important to have feedback, perhaps not only about me as your teacher right now, but about all the tools that you've been using for this program and all these ways of learning English. So the first question that I have for you, Abel, is about Pearson. Please, Abel, tell me, what do you think about Pearson in general? And if you can mention one positive aspect about it and one negative aspect about Pearson, please, Abel.
Yes. I think that the tool Pearson is interesting because there are concepts and exercise to apply grammar rules, vocabulary, and mm, and and practice the reading. A negative aspect could be that more explanation about a um, specific uh, statements or yes and other concepts.
Okay, okay, good. I get it, Abel. I agree with you. Perhaps Pearson should have like extra material, right, to expand on a little bit more of some concepts if they are not that clear, right? Extra content, extra material, some other videos or some other like any kind of multimedia that they can share with the students who want to reinforce, right, or who want to expand that knowledge a little bit more. I think it's because Pearson is kind of an autonomous way of working, right? An independent way of working. And sometimes they don't want to confuse students with many complex ideas, explanations, and examples, and they let that for the teacher. But I believe that they should give the option, right, of giving more material and so on. But in that case, Abel, saying and mentioning that, what is a recommendation that you would give to Pearson to improve that aspect, Abel? What would you do to improve that?
More exercises yes, only more exercises and that maybe uh, with text of to to improve reading and comprehension Yes.
Okay, yes, yes, I got that idea. I think reading is only one thing, right? One exercise of reading, and I think that's not enough, but reading is very important. That's why I was practicing some of months reading with you, right? This month it was different videos. I think it was also good, but reading is one thing that we cannot leave aside. It's very important to do it. And just to ask you there, Abel, how often do you read other material in English to try to practice your reading skills besides peers?
Um, well, for my work, almost 3 times in a day, and
Right.
for my um, uh, uh, when I free, I watch the videos of TED, TED Talk
Hmm.
channel on YouTube that and their the videos that you teacher recommend on conversations. I
Hmm.
watch those videos too.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And actually, that's very good, Abel. I can notice that you're very good at this learning. You're very good at English. I can see that in the scores that you have in the platform, in how you participate. And it's great. And actually, that's a lot. I'm surprised, Abel, in a really positive way, because many people don't really read not even one article a week, right? In English, I'm saying. And
Mm,
the fact that you can read and consume a lot of English content, I think that's really, really positive. Not only reading, but also watching videos, practicing your listening skills, right? That's positive. The next question goes here, and it's related to the conversations. You know that sometimes also Pearson, many people were telling me, they don't have like a very good way of practicing or for practicing speaking, right? That's why perhaps Executive English decided to add these private conversations, right? These 15-minute conversations with each student. What do you think about these conversations, Abel, in general? And if you can tell me again one more time, one positive thing about it and one negative thing about it,
mm. I think that this way to improve speaking is a good idea, an excellent idea. But the the time is the negative aspect for me.
Okay, good, good. Yes, that's something that some of your partners also mention. They believe that this is a great way for practicing, but sometimes 15 minutes is not enough, right? It's not enough to practice more, to expand the conversations and so on. I agree with you. And I was telling this, I know that it would be great that we have at least like 20 or 25 minutes per, let's say, two times a day, right? Or twice a week. But in this chance, Abel, in case that the program is not able to give extra time for that, what do you think about the idea of having only one conversation a week, perhaps only one a week, but it would be a 30 minutes? Would it be the same for you, or is it going to be something different that is going to help you out? What do you think about that?
Mm, mm, I think I'm not agree with that idea because
Mhm.
practice 2 days in a week speaking is really important. Then because if I practice only one day speaking, it isn't help
Yes.
me.
Yes, yes, correct. I think that's the negative part of that idea, right? Even if it's 30 minutes, the good idea about speaking English, right, more days is because your ears, right, and everything in your body gets used to that, let's say, language, because language is not only perhaps the ideas we have in mind. A language is how you use your ears, what you're able to perceive, also in speaking, right? You use parts of your body. So Believe it or not, and I'm sure that you are aware of that, learning a language involves changing not only things in your mind, but also in your body, right? The way you hear, the way you speak, and so on and so forth. So I agree with you. The more times, the better. I'm going to make that comment to management, Abel, to see if it's possible to have longer conversations perhaps in the future with other teachers. So far, it's kind of hard because of the number of students and so on. But yes, perhaps it's a little bit short. The next and the last question that we're going to be developing over here, Abel, I was able to watch the video that you recorded. It was great. All right, it was great. Thank you very much for doing it. I think even you were able to have right and build some sentences with very complex ideas, very complex words, and it's great that you can play with those words, that you can use those words because that's going to help improve your English even more, right? I believe that you've been improving a lot, Abel, and you're going to improve even more in the following months. But now the question goes to this, and again, one more time, thank you very much. In terms of teaching, right? In terms of me as your teacher here, and as part of the program, right? Not only as one teacher, but as teacher of executive English. What is one positive thing that you can find about me being your teacher all this time? And what is one recommendation perhaps that you can give me to improve my methodology or something that I'm doing in class to make things better if they are not good or to only improve those things? What do you say,
Well, uh, mm, I think that the time is the main uh, um, I, the main um, problem because
Abel?
if there is more time, uh, we, uh, all the classmates could be interact with each
Okay.
other
Yes, yes,
and
good, good.
and and more and we students can do many exercise help with help you teacher.
Okay, okay, yes, I agree with you. Sometimes, and you know, it's kind of frustrating also for me, right? I really want you to participate, all of you. I want you to write many exercises. I want you to make mistakes, right? And why? Because I can help you out, right? Be sure that you're doing okay or not. But yes, one thing that is perhaps like a negative is time. I would also love to have more time. And according to you, Abel, over there, how much time would it be like enough to work in a better way, Abel?
um, Approximately two two and two and 30 2 hours and 30 minutes could
Okay,
be.
okay, so that's the time more or less that you believe we will need so that everybody can participate, interact, right, and have more exercises to be graded or corrected, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. And in terms, the last one again over there, in terms of recommendation over there, perhaps in terms of methodology, things I use or I don't use, what would you recommend me, all right, do to improve or to do in a different way as part of what I do as a teacher, Abel?
Could you repeat, teacher, please?
Yes. What is a thing that you can recommend me, Abel, to improve my methodology or the materials that I use in class? What should I use in class that I don't use? Or what should I do in class that I don't do?
Mm, no, no, teacher. All this okay, and for me, your methodology helped me to understand the language.
Great. Great. I'm really grateful for that, Abel. Thank you very much for that feedback. And I'm really happy that you were able to take advantage of that way of working with English. So I think that's going to be it. We're talking about the negative thing. It's because we're going to finish here, kind of, Abel. But I want to know if you have any final questions or comments, Abel. Remember that tomorrow there's no classes. Monday is the last day of classes and it's the final test. We have classes, okay? Classes are going to be normal on Monday. We're going to finish the last lesson and we're going to cover or solve some doubts that you have, questions. But remember that until noon is the last day to complete the assignments of that unit, Unit 4. And you're going to have the whole Monday if you want to take the final exam before. You have the whole Monday and you have until Tuesday noon, right? Lunchtime. You have until that time to take that final exam. So you can take it before the class, you can take it after the class, or maximum Tuesday morning. Do you have any questions or comments about that, Abel?
No, teacher. No, teacher. I could you recommend me a website or a book to improve writing and comprehension with reading?
Okay. Writing and comprehension with reading. Look, one thing that there is no like a perfect web page. The only thing that I recommend to do, but I'm going to look for a web page. Please remind me to do it. When you ask me for links, I always send those links, but remind me to do it on Monday. But the only thing that I can recommend you here and right now, Abel, is to only go and check a mixed, let's say, articles that you can find online. That's the best way I have to practice some reading comprehension. It's go to any web page that is related to news sources as CNN, BBC, and check those and practice with those. But one specific that you can use perhaps is British Council. I'm going to write it right now, please, and I'm going to send it. In that part and in that, let's say, web page, you have many exercises related to speaking, to writing, to reading, and I think they have advanced and intermediate advanced exercises. So try to go there. I'm going to send it right now. All right, it's going to be in the chat. And try to look for the reading exercises. I think you're going to be able to practice over there. All right, I'm sending the link. It's British Council. Where's the chat? Over here. But again, remind me to do it. On Monday, I'm going to look for other extra web page that I know, and they are going to help you out. But that's one that can help you out a lot. Look for reading exercises over there. They have many things. Take an exam, learn English. If you go to the section learn English, you're going to have many, let's say, tools over there. It says learn English online, learn English for adults, and so on. If you select one of those, they're going to take you to a specific part, and you're going to have the chance of learning English for specific purposes. All right. And if you give me 10 more seconds over here, I'm going to give you this other web page in which you're going to also be able to practice reading exercises. But again, my main thing over here, Abel, is to always check, let's say, um, articles. That's the best way and perhaps the only good way for practicing your reading. And this extra link that I'm sending you, Abel, is also in the chat. It's also a good and an interesting place. They have a lot of exercises to work, let's say, your reading skills. You have to select one level. Okay, you can go from basic A1 to intermediate or upper intermediate, and even you have advanced C1. Perhaps you can go to those C1 exercises, Abel, and try to challenge yourself with exercises they have. Okay, try to do that, please.
Okay,
Any
teacher.
other questions or perhaps something you want to ask me?
No, teacher. No, no. It's okay.
Great, perfect. So try to take advantage of those pages, Abel. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Thanks again for everything, and I'll see you on Monday.
Okay, teacher, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Bye bye. See you.